Hi, this is Joey Reynolds. I'm not dressed properly. I'm wearing my Air Force One t-shirt from the time when Trump was president. And Air Force One, which was the airplane of the presidents, they would go everywhere. The mayor of New York would like to have one of those. They all want to go somewhere free. Me too. Also, we don't want to go through TSA. We don't want to go through the check bag routine. We want extra leg room. You got to be president to have all that stuff. What was the sign on the side of the Trump plane? It was dummy on board or something like that. He's got more merchandise, this guy. He's so full of horse shit. I mean, come in. He ought to open a store, T-Mart, and replace Kmart with all the stuff he's selling. I mean, this is the guy who's in business. The pillow guy owes $1 billion to people, according to the paper. And I think these guys they're all about selling stuff and making money, and they pretend they're going to serve the public. The latest thing with which I listen, I don't care who wins. I really don't. Honest to God, I don't care. But I don't rely on God to do my bidding on the election. I use my own intellect, my own free will, my own conscience. I'm not going to church to elect a president. I go to church to save my soul. But Trump is talking about today is St. Michael's Day. St. Michael's is a defender of the faith, Catholic faith. And he is praying to St. Michael today. Trump belongs to the Marble Collegiate Church, which that's where he got married. Marble Collegiate Church is Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, who died years ago. The power of positive thinking. Can you imagine that Donald Trump comes from the church with the author of The Power of Positive Thinking? Come on. What are we all doing here? Is everybody just in a little zone where you don't ever leave that little space, and you're afraid that if you go out of that space, you're going to have to start thinking and differently. You're going to have to act differently. You're going to actually have to be better and make a difference and have an opinion about your family and your health and all the things that are really important. Like they have this strike that did they do the strike with the Teamsters Union or all the truckers? They're all going to go on strike. No problem. Just give all the work to Amazon. You'll have everything overnight. It'll be on everyone's porch the next day, whatever you order. I mean, what are we doing? We're all so scared of everything. We get on the news with the hurricanes, and now that's an act of nature. It's don't blame it on God, and don't blame it on the government. It's an act of nature. And then there's that discussion of global warming and the Farmer's Almanac. I used to read that all the time. I ate the farmer's dog, but I'm not Haitian. So anyway, this is just different than it was when I was young. Everything's different when you're young. Believe me, it is different when you're young. Yeah, I had a good idea of what sex was when I was giving myself a hickey so that the girls would be interested in me. They think I was very popular. They have this thing now, this commercial where they're selling all these products. They're using a carrot as a penis. And they're having the parrot shrink a carrot. You got to be Bugs Bunny to get laid. What are we doing? I'm laughing at my own stuff because my father taught me never to rely on strangers. No, I keep going along because I'm amazed. Every day is an amazing day. It's a sunrise surprise. I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, now who did what wrong? And what is it that I wish I had gotten away with? That's what the news is all about, right? You're watching somebody go to jail and say, wow, that guy is going to jail. He deserves his punishment. I'm glad that didn't happen to me. Yeah, well, I'm glad I'm not that person, too. I was watching Netflix. They got the story of the Mendez brothers. Now they finally made that movie. They killed their father. Isn't that wonderful? And they said that they were sexually abused when they were kids, so that prompted them to eventually have enough of their dad, and they took their mother with them. Can you imagine killing your parents because you were sexually abused? I mean, what is that like a stretch? It's just crazy. It's crazy. But that's what that story's about, and it's in 9 or 10 parts. They keep dragging you on because that's what the business is all about, is taking you down a road to buy something that they're selling in between whatever they're doing. Well, on Netflix, you already paid for the subscription, which reminds me. See, all of these licensed radio and television stations and the networks are on licensed TV stations. And it's the FCC. I don't know how they justify their existence. They checked out a long time ago, as far as I'm concerned. But you have them online making money online, which is not licensed, not serving your community, but they're supporting the other interest, which is the government provides people to own television, but not 1,000 stations. And incidentally, while I'm on the subject, do you realize that anybody who's ever worked at Fox and has sexual charges you never hear from again? They gone into an abyss. When Judith Reagan did a remake of she did a recreation of the trial. I think she was finding. She wrote a book that what if O.J. Simpson were innocent? I think that's it. The Goldman family flipped out, and they pressured Rupert Murdoch, I think, and that company to get rid of her on Fox. They gave her about $50 million, and we haven't heard from her since. If I get the kind of money, you're not going to hear from me either. And then Bill O'Reilly, had sexual charges. They got rid of him. Tucker Carlson. All these guys you never hear from again. Roger Ailes, who started the Fox network as we know it, that Fox channel, the political one. I don't know what happens, but what about in the morning? What was his name on the Today Show? I just forgot his name. See what happens? You forget their names too. Even I forget their names. I, who have the mind of a Rolodex. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a crazy world. It's always been crazy. Now we just communicate. Everybody's in the business. Everybody is a star. That's the way it was sung by Sly Stone. The other song that comes to mind, which was accurate about what's going on now, is everybody. No, it wasn't even a song. It was Andy Warhol said everybody will be famous for 15 minutes. I'm still working on all the quarter hours that I stole from other people. Are you famous for 15 minutes? Are you watching this because you think I'm enjoyable, entertaining, exciting, interesting, or you wonder where I'm going to go with it? Are you watching this because you're really bored and don't have anywhere else to go? Are you watching this because there's nothing else that's on the TV, or you can't get anything else on your phone except this? This is on the phone. This is internet. I'm not on an over-the-air television, but I have 15 years on radio in New York on a network. But that doesn't count. None of it counts anymore because everybody's their own show. My mother has a podcast and she died 20 years ago. Everybody's got a podcast. The only people who need to have a podcast are the people who really are and truly are dedicated to that medium. And there aren't any. They're dedicated to this particular form of broadcasting because they're not able to get on radio. Well, there's no radio. The radio died. They're arguing to put it in cars again because they were going to take it out, I guess. And, older people like myself, we like push-button living. You want to push the button, the microwave better do 10 minutes. It better do a meal in 10 minutes. Better do popcorn in 2 minutes. It better make my coffee in 30 seconds. It's push button. And we're in a push button society on the phone. If I can't do this, I don't want to talk to that person. I want it to be over with real fast. I'm an instant guy. Remember instant coffee when it first came out? You just add water. That's all you do. Then Starbucks started charging $5. Instant coffee, Nescafe, I had it for 5 years, that little jar. It was, I think, 80 cents. And you take 1 teaspoon of coffee and put it in the cup and hot water. But the water better get hot fast because we're in an instant society. We have a drive-through society. We would want to drive through for confession in church. They want the priest to sit in a booth like a bobblehead and just you drive by it and tell them all your sins. I'd be there for a long time. I'd be there in a parking lot. That's where I'd be. No, the drive-through society we live in. Nobody wants to cook at home quickly. They want to eat. And yet we're all going to every pharmacy we can get our hands on to buy things that are going to cure us because we're afraid that we're going to catch something from something that's not healthy. Well, what's not healthy is life itself. That's what's not healthy. It can be. Say your prayers and move your feet. That's all I can tell you. Pray to St. Michael. You'll be the president if you pray to St. Michael. God, come on. Give me the strength to put up with this crap. This is unbelievable that we have this election with this clown. I mean, where did this come from? We've had 3.5 years of someone bitching because he lost. Enough already. Go home. Do you think this is going to happen with the Yankees? It may. It's a Reynolds wrap.